Handsome Hockey Podcast. 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 Handsome Hockey Podcast.
Handsome Hockey Podcast.
All right, welcome to World War III. My bad. This is episode 56 of the Handsome Hockey Podcast here in Portland, Oregon, where the Russians haven't invaded yet. But I'm wearing my Red Dawn t-shirt just in case.
Just in case. That movie is a trip.
It's incredible. They tried to remake it, and they were like, we can't do half of those things anymore. And so it's just really boring. Mm-hmm. And like...
That and Blazing Saddles, just movies that can never be remade.
Yeah, you watch it, and you watch Red Dawn now, and you're like, nope, that can't be done. No, that can't be done either. Okay, most of this movie can't be made. Great. Where they like make the class president swallow a tracking device, and then they gun him down because of it. Like it's absurd.
I think if I remember correctly, I read that movie was supposed to be made about China. They're trying to open the market in China for Hollywood, and so they like changed it all to Russia.
Yeah, and Nicaragua.
Yeah. Famously invasion-prone Nicaragua.
When I think of countries that are apt to invade the Western United States, Nicaragua's way up there.
Well, I mean, that's funny because I think we conducted military operations in Nicaragua.
Several times, probably, yeah. We're probably doing it right now.
Just for fun.
We've got boots on the grounds because we can.
Yeah, congratulations to America for no longer being the major foreign power, or only major foreign power, to be in a pointless war for political gain.
Yeah, and hats off to us for... I got nothing there, yeah. No, I lost it.
Hats off to Canada for putting America in its place.
Once again. Oh, yeah. By the way, I'm Jake. This is Evan. Forgot about that part. This is the Handsome Hockey Podcast. We're not really actually going to sit here and talk about World War III the entire time.
You know, it's only slightly on our minds, but not like completely on our minds. It's kind of funny how though, like, everyone in hockey's Twitter feed right now is just like hockey highlights and war.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's a little surreal.
Yeah. Or the combination point, which is, are we allowed to ask Alex Ovechkin about the
right
invasion of the Ukraine?
Artemi Panarin's got to be like, well, at least they can all talk to me.
Yeah. The answer to that question is yes, you can ask him questions about it. And the answer to does he have to answer is no, he doesn't have to answer.
So I want to know what the Ukrainian biathletes are doing that just competed in the Olympic Games. Are they
hunting Russians?
Yeah. Are they, like doing everything they can to try and get home? Or are they like just hanging out in China and, happily a world away from this? Or are they like, hunting down Russians on skis with their target rifles that have very slow rates of fire, still wearing their bibs from the Olympics?
They're going to go like full Simo Haya and just like kill hundreds of Russians. Mm-hmm. For those of you who don't know, Simo Haya is a Finnish sniper who killed like something like 300 Russians or something in like a year.
Wow.
Over 500. Yeah, way wrong.
Wow.
His nickname is the White Death.
Wow.
That dude rules. He got shot in the face and was like, it's fine.
I think really we've just come up with a concept for a movie. Instead of American sniper, it's Ukrainian sniper.
Finns win the gold medal and have the best sniper of all time.
He skis home from China to take on the Russians single-handedly.
We could write that in a weekend.
Yeah, I feel like that's easily better than Sharknado.
One's got sharks.
Yeah.
If we could somehow slip a shark into the story, then it's a full win.
Not Sharknado.
Anyways, so the Olympics happened and hockey was played, although not by NHLers. We're going to start with the women, however, because that was much more interesting.
Yeah,
and
easily the
US
most captivating.
And the US and Canada went further. And guess what we are? Homers.
And, if anyone follows the Athletic podcast, we know what happens to homers.
So the women's tournament played out probably as everyone would have expected. The US and Canada skated for the gold, with Canada winning 3-2. Although
it was not that close at all.
It didn't feel that close.
And even though the US had a couple of near goals, Canada just dominated the whole game. It was just like, oh, this is kind of a beatdown.
I thought the US I thought the U.S. in the third period started to assert itself finally and use their speed and finally create some havoc. And they ended up getting a goal from that havoc towards the end there. But yeah, I think probably 2/3 to 3/4 of that game was all Canada, and it was a rough night for the Stars and Stripes.
Yeah, I mean, do you think they missed Brianna Decker? Absolutely.
Yeah.
There was one line and no secondary scoring for the Americans, or no real secondary threats. But I mean, they also, put an early goal off the pipe, and I think had another close call kind of midway through the game. So, gosh, there's a reason we always get excited when these two teams come together, because, well, they don't like each other very much, and it's always just super captivating TV.
Marie-Philippe Poulin scored 2 goals in the final, including the game winner, the ultimate game winner.
You down with MPP?
Yeah, you know me. Sarah Nurse set an Olympic record with 18 points. That's the most points in a single women's hockey tournament.
Wow.
Also pretty rad that she's a woman of color and that she...
I think became the first black gold medalist in Canadian women's hockey history.
And so also awesome that game drew 3.54 million average viewers, which is more than any NHL game this season. That's a lot of people watching hockey.
Yeah, and a lot of people watching women's hockey as it should be.
Yeah.
And, a lot of people rightly pointed out, oh, where can I watch these women play professionally in North America, in a league? And then you have to kind of awkwardly explain to them, well,
they play exhibitions.
Kind of not really at all. There's this other league, and they do some showcases occasionally, but ne'er the two shall meet. And it's a weird conversation.
And we'll get to this later, but the PHF was like, how can we capitalize that? I know, money. So we'll get to that later, though. There, of course, as there always is, human male chungus detritus talking about how women's hockey shouldn't be an Olympic sport because it's dominated by 2 people or 2 teams. And it's like, the men's is all Canada and Russia. Fuck off.
Yeah, and there are plenty of other sports that are just dominated by 2 or 3, a handful of teams. And we don't care. We don't care that the U.S. dominates ski jumping. We still watch it. It's the dumbest argument to be made. And
get better, world.
Get better, world.
The people who are talking about this are wrong, and they should feel bad about themselves. They should probably look in a mirror and then just smash their face into it. There were, oddly enough, some female reporters talking about this, and it's like, are you the women's hockey Candace Owens? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, I understand, wanting to have a little bit more of a, diverse playoff from a national perspective. But also that's kind of what we got in the men's tournament, and that didn't really turn into very captivating TV either. A kind of superhero story engages people kind of predictably. I don't know, the men's tournament had what they were asking for, and it seemed much less interesting than the women's tournament.
Speaking of the men's tournament, Slovakia ousted the U.S. in the quarterfinals. Sweden did the same to Canada, so I'm guessing the numbers for the men's tournament wasn't quite that great.
And both of these games that saw U.S. and Canada falter were very, very close games. I think both were 1-goal games. One was shootout, one was overtime, if I'm not mistaken.
The U.S. went to a shootout, and I think Canada lost 2-0. But
U.S. went to a shootout, and coach calls off the bench, okay, Oshie, and then Oh, shit. TJ. Yo, TJ. Get on the ice.
Oh,
Buddy.
Shit.
Oh, TJ? TJ?
Buddy. Bueller. So those are like the kind of the North American stories for the men's tournament. The really cool things, Slovakia earned their first men's hockey medal by beating Sweden in the bronze medal game.
Hell yeah.
Sweden had, as we said earlier, previously ousted Canada. And the other big story, Finland topped the Russia. But seriously, this isn't Russia. It's just a bunch of Russians playing hockey together, but it's not Russia.
What are they this? Is it RSO?
ROC.
ROC.
The Rock.
I feel like they were RSO, Registered Student Organization, for a while. But yeah, welcome to The Rock. Sean Connery was actually revived from the dead to introduce them at the opening ceremonies.
Is Sean Connery dead?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he did die. Really cool to see Finland win. They obviously have, probably in the last 10 years, started putting out a ton of just high-profile hockey players. They've always been a hockey nation, but they've really just put out a ton of guys lately. And so it's really cool to see them, even without their NHLers, pull out a gold medal. I was pretty pumped to see Valtteri Filppula, long time
Him.
Red Wing, and also good human being, win a gold medal.
Cool.
What a cool cap on a long NHL career.
Yeah, and to do it against a nation that your country has previously gone to war with. Like, that's got to be...
Probably a number of times.
Yeah.
At this point.
You're right. They have the Winter War, the Continuation War, and now the Gold Medal War. Just just
maybe
bring this
soon
home
World War III.
Yeah, just to bring this home to current events.
Putin's like, fuck it, let's get Finland too.
Yeah, he's going after Finland right after Ukraine. Just like, well, we got a grudge to itch,
and like the White Death creeps out of its dormant state in its casket and just comes out and starts hunting people.
We're starting to make World War III sound too much fun.
That's the other movie, is Zombie Sniper.
So we have Shark NATO and Zombie Sniper.
Yes. And we got to think of a clever name for the biathlon movie. In NHL news, trade season is among us.
Yeah, we're a month from the trade deadline.
Yeah, around there. Yeah.
Things are starting to get hot.
Yeah, this happened, and then there will be nothing for like 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden it'll go ping, 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 ping again.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like there are more and more teams that are starting to trade for players earlier because they see value in that. You get more time to incorporate like a rental into your system. You maybe get a better chance to get your pick of the litter, and I don't know. I think we're seeing more teams deal earlier for guys with this deal as a bit of a harbinger.
That was what Brad Treliving, the GM in Calgary, said. He's like, I want to get my work done early so these guys have a chance to acclimate to the system, to get used to the locker room, to get used to being in Calgary, all that stuff.
Right. Just being very cold.
Yeah. Oh, it was, I think, like negative 27 there today or something like that. I wish that was a joke, but I'm pretty sure it was that cold today.
I don't doubt it.
And then one of the perks here is Tyler Toffoli has played for Daryl Sutter before, so it kind of works out that he has a working knowledge of the system, or at least some vague idea of the system, and can hopefully settle in pretty quickly. He was traded for Emil Heineman, Tyler Don't Call Me Rem Pitlick, a 2023 fifth round pick, and a conditional 2022 first round pick that is top 10 protected.
That's quite a mouthful of trade.
It gets even better. If the 2022 first rounder is not, or is in the top 10, which it won't be because Calgary's, I think, first in the West right now. So,
okay.
But if it is in the top 10, Calgary can say, no, we want to bounce that pick to 2023, and then it's automatically gone. But if they do that, they also have to surrender a 2024 fourth rounder.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. I mean, like, What do these guys like lay awake at night and think of like ifs to ands to add to contracts?
It's
like,
weird because like, they've got nothing on the NBA.
for sure.
The NBA,
We haven't had a 3-team trade, and
the NBA
forever.
is a clown car.
the NBA is hilarious.
Yeah. Well, we have the
I mean, at
only
least
thing I
fucking-
pay attention to at all about the NBA is when they start trading players, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be good. I don't even understand it. There were a couple of 3-team trades last year. I think the Dennis Savard trade,
Oh yeah, but they just retained salary. It was just through an intermediary,
and got a draft pick.
which I mean, good. I mean, because that eventually makes more trades if you can launder your money through Monte Carlo.
well, or Arizona.
Yeah, right.
Speaking of Arizona and Toronto have become bedfellows recently.
Ooh, Triple X version of Dance Party.
Yeah, I went with dance partners in the script, but you know what? Let's sex it up a little bit. Gotta make people out there purr like a Wolverine next to your crotch. The easier of these two trades to talk about is Carter Hutton heading to Toronto for future considerations.
Oh, I love that player. He's so good.
Yeah, the future considerations, they might be like a bag of pretzels. It also might be 2 bags of pretzels.
Hey, if like one of those bags of pretzels is chocolate covered, we got a deal.
Or like that's like the best flight ever. The flight attendant is like, I think you need 2 pretzels. And I go, yeah, I look like a hungry boy because I am. I starve myself because airport food is exorbitantly priced. So give me them fucking free pretzels.
Also, I'm naming my firstborn child future considerations on the off chance that they make it to the NHL.
We've traded future considerations for future considerations.
Absolutely. Macaulay Culkin.
We have traded future considerations for the rights to future considerations.
Absolutely. Love it. NHL hockey, experience the drama.
The more impactful trade here between the Leafs and the Coyotes is the Leafs dumping Nick Ritchie's contract on the Yotes along with a 2025 second round pick in exchange for rental properties like Boardwalk and Park Place. Although in this case, they are known as Ryan Zingle and Ilya Lyubushkin. I just want to point out that I spelled Lyubushkin. I might not be pronouncing it correctly.
No, I think you're right.
But I spelled it correctly on the first try. Went and looked it up and like gave myself a high five because I was like, yeah,
hell yeah. And Ryan Dzingel, who was then promptly waived and picked up by the San Jose Sharks. Apparently, he was reportedly told by Kyle Dubas, like, yeah, we're going to waive you. Don't go anywhere. Stay in Arizona. Sit tight. You're going somewhere else.
I mean, that's nice of him. That's
Yeah.
a long flight to like just be to get off it and like there's somebody there holding a sign for you, like he's your driver, and he's like, actually get on another plane. Sorry.
Yeah, right. Whereas now he has like what, an hour flight to San Jose.
Much more palatable.
Yeah,
Uh,
barely even level in the air between Arizona and San Jose.
yeah. The Nick Ritchie just kind of never worked out in Toronto.
No, it kind of felt bad for. I can't not call him Big Dick Nick Ritchie. I don't know. Having Nick
Big Nick
Foles,
Dick Ritchie.
Yeah, Big Nick Dick. Having Nick Foles on the Bears NFL roster for a couple of years is just like, oh god, any professional athlete with the first name Nick, like it's just, I don't know, it's alliteration. Yeah, felt kind of bad for Nick Ritchie because he came in with a lot of kind of excitement to Toronto. He was kind of expected to be the gritty player and kind of multifaceted, goal scoring grit that he was in Boston for a couple of years. And coming off of a really good year in Boston, he definitely just did not fit in with the team. And I don't know. I think this was kind of a bit of a ugly contract for them to have to trade so quickly, but
Yeah.
he'll fit in pretty well with the rest of the
Misfit toys.
yeah, the misfit toys in Arizona.
Yeah. So it's a savvy play, I think, by Kyle Dubas to, just kind of make sure that they get somebody of Lyubushkin's caliber. They have a ton of puck moving defensemen in Toronto, and they needed some kind of stay at home, be hardened against the idiocy sort of thing. That's the real deal here, is a second round pick and Nick Ritchie's contract for Lyubushkin, basically. Who, and he's a rental as well, but he also is that stay at home type who can really help hopefully solidify their back end.
Yeah, and he's a big dude, provides them some size, and the analytics guys like Jay Fresh and his cards are pretty low on him, but also he played in Arizona. Like, they've just been bad. So it's really hard to look at someone's analytics that have just been on a bad team and think much of them. Tonight, Thursday, February 24th, 2022, Zdeno Chara has broken the record for the most games by a defenseman, and he's promptly on the trade block. He's not been very good this year, but he's still gargantuan and can chew up some minutes and provides you experience, good guy in the room, really hard worker. So, a lot of GMs love that shit. It'd be really interesting to see where he lands if they decide to trade him because the Isles suck shit right now, and
They bad.
Really just need to sell off everything for parts and play Kiefer Bellows as much as possible.
Beaver Kellos. I don't know where that came from. We should have an episode where we do that for every hockey player that we talk about. Just like switch the first letter.
We used to do that with NBA players. And when I was a kid, God, what fucking Stan Jokten or like
Marl Cologne.
Yeah. Should I move on?
Yeah, well, let's move on.
Also baiting the hook is the GM of the Nashville Predators, David Poile, reportedly shopping Filip Forsberg, one of their best offensive talents, a month before the deadline.
I'd say their best offensive talent.
Yeah, easily. Interesting. He's a pending unrestricted free agent. You said he's a $6 million
$6 million a year right now.
I don't know if he's due for a raise or not, but
maybe. Year, I mean, he's having a career year.
He's having an amazing year
in his contract year. No way.
And I fucking let him go in fantasy.
Yeah,
that
we
was,
know
that was a mistake. But maybe David Poile won't make the same mistake. I kind of think this is posturing because we're a month from the deadline. They got time. They want to resign him. It sounds like they have space.
Yeah, they're going to have about $25 million cap space, and they don't really have anybody to re-sign this year. So, yeah, I'm with you. I think it's posturing. I think we see Forsberg re-sign in Nashville. But, like, if that's your bargaining tool, if you're David Poile, like, why?
Yeah, that's got to be a little bit of a rub you the wrong way.
Why tell a guy that you don't want him around when you want him around, right? Like,
right. Why
unless
tell your top scorer that you don't want him around when you don't want him around? Like, interesting. I mean, this has not been widely reported. It came from, I think, like the Isles beat reporter. But, I don't know. Curious. Definitely curious also is what's going on in the PHF, where it seems like lots of drama.
Is there ever not just some level of shenanigans happening in the PHF?
I mean, it makes it interesting to cover, that's for sure.
Yeah, it makes for a good podcast.
It's just every time you look, like, someone's getting fired. Some heads are getting chopped off. Like it's like Game of Thrones over there.
Yeah, well, it makes for a good podcast by the Ice Garden. Our podcast is shit. But first reported by Jeff Merrick on Hockey Night in Canada, PHF Commissioner Tyler Tumminia has announced that they will step down after the conclusion of the 2022 PHF Isabel Cup playoffs, which they just announced are being held in Florida for some reason. More on that later.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Tuminia's legacy is one of, I want to say, rampant expansion of the league or rampant growth of the league. The Board of Governors just injected $25 million into the league. They are expanding into Montreal and an as of yet unknown American city. The salary cap for teams was more than doubled once and is being more than doubled again next year. I mean, that's going to allow women's hockey players to make some semblance of a living playing women's hockey, which is awesome.
Yeah, that's a big development and comes on the heels of the NWSL also expanding their salary cap in recent years.
Yeah. Tyler Tumminia also oversaw the ESPN Plus streaming contract, which is, for those of us who watch a good deal of the PHF, made it so much easier.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's no disrespect to Twitch, and I actually kind of miss the Twitch feeds.
The Twitch streams were
and
fun.
The social interactions of it. But having your product be so much more accessible is only a boon for the league. And that it makes the very passionate fans have easier access, but more importantly, the casual fans or the people who might just stumble across it are more apt to find it on ESPN than they would on Twitch.
Yeah, it also sends a very different message to, say, prospects that you were sending a couple years ago. Like, okay, you're coming off of your women's college hockey career. You're a very good player. You probably also have a degree. Maybe you have a trouble finding a job in this economy, like I did, finding a job in architecture in 2010. What are you going to do? Well, maybe I'll take a shot at playing professional women's hockey. Like, I don't know. I think that's really cool. So I think they've really done a lot to lay the groundwork here, and just, showing these games on ESPN Plus has really shown that there's an appetite for women's hockey. And yeah, I look forward to watching more of them in the coming years.
Eleni of @StrongForecheck on Twitter, and who's also the co-host of the Ice Gardens podcast, is reporting, along with the Ice Garden themselves, that both Lisa Haley, Senior Vice President of Hockey Operations, and Katie Gardner, Vice President of Business Strategy and Marketing, are also leaving the league at the end of the season.
So it's a whole front office line change.
Yeah, one after another, just over the boards, ladies. The big thing here is that this isn't so much of a shuffling of the chairs on the Titanic, and it's not people jumping ship because Tyler's leaving. It's more, these are part-time positions right now.
Oh, okay.
And so they're going to be full-time positions with the new investment in the league.
Nice.
And so they need somebody who can do the job full-time. So that's why these two are leaving. So this doesn't seem like oh God, more drama. This just seems like smart business sense.
This does seem a little dramatic, coming off the heels of the dismissal of Alex Sinatra from her position with the PHF Players Association. But yeah, as you outlined, there's a pretty hard rationale for some of these departures. So I don't know, hard to read too much into it.
Yeah, I mean, we want to sit here and be like, drama, but not everything is that dramatic, which is something that we rarely get to say with the PHF. But in this case, I think a couple of these departures are more of just a business plan.
Right.
We did mention that the Isabel Cup playoffs are in Florida. Why?
You want my honest opinion? I think they just want to go to Florida.
Yeah, they just want to be warm.
I think fuck, not doing Buffalo this year in the dead of winter.
They already did Buffalo this year in the dead of winter.
That's what I mean. We're going to Florida.
That is probably the best reason I can think of for them to hold this in Florida.
That, and they are borrowing Pat Maroon's jet ski for the inevitable parade.
Okay, now I'm behind it. Yeah. Jet skis.
Yeah.
I think, as we discussed earlier, Pat Maroon probably has 40 jet skis and just rides one for a lap, comes in, switches out.
As one does.
Yeah. Us with our jet skis. Enough jet skis to power a small Oregon town, but nope, just riding them up and down the Willamette. But it doesn't make logistical sense for a number of reasons. For one, the teams.
Yeah.
The closest team to Florida are the Riv, and they're in New York.
Well, I mean,
or
obviously, Florida, New York, I mean, there's a connection there. They're snowbirds.
Yeah. Woo, yay. New Yorkers don't leave in the winter. Midwesterners leave in the winter.
Oh no, Florida is like 90% New Yorkers.
Oh, well then fine. It also doesn't make sense for fans who would want to attend these games.
That's correct.
If you're a Buffalo Buttes fan and you want to go watch, sadly, probably your team get shelled, I will say this: the Buttes have had a couple of decent weekends the last couple of weeks, so don't hold me to the whole. I mean, they're still last place, but whatever. So I don't understand the logistics of it for fans, for teams, for anybody really.
I think it sort of speaks to the fact that this is, at least now in the time of COVID, generally a TV sport. I mean, maybe they're going to Florida to avoid any sort of mask mandate.
Maybe. And if so, hopefully they have better luck than they did in the Hubbles, because that was a disaster. This might just be a marketing ploy.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they could do like DC or Detroit or Pittsburgh and draw a much bigger crowd.
Yeah, especially if you have, a urban setting for your stadium. Like that could have a lot of really good marketing opportunities and, relationship building opportunities. But yeah, I think they're fully just going for like proximity to beach.
Yeah, just go play it like Honey Baked in Detroit or CompuWare. Anyways, this does keep up a long history of hockey hosting tournaments that make no fucking sense. The NCAA Frozen Four, both men's and women's, has not made sense for the better part of 25 years. I think they've held it in Tampa like 3 times.
I heard this year it's going to be on the moon.
The dark side of the moon. You got to make it even less accessible.
Well, at least they'll have a sponsor in Pink Floyd.
Yeah. Who all hate each other. So who knows? Maybe it's a bidding war. I don't know. Like
your national anthem will be this like 13-minute long ethereal jam by this, Robert Plant and band.
So this is kind of a keeping up with the Joneses sort of thing on the PHF, if that's the logic we want to follow. But hopefully it comes off without a hitch. Hopefully it's a huge success, or at least not a disaster, and hopefully the whale win. I mean, hopefully everybody has fun.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's part of the motivation is like Florida ain't stopping no shit for nobody for COVID. So, maybe this will go off without a hitch, regardless of who can play and who can't. Like, maybe they'll just all get infected and pull people off the streets to play. Who knows?
Like Yager shows up. They're just like, he's still got a mullet. We'll just pass him off. The PHF is, from somebody who has unabashedly loved the whale for 2 years and admittedly didn't watch a lot of women's hockey before that. Mm-hmm. It's really cool to see that like this is something that they're even capable of pulling off. Like that seems like a huge step. I just feel like Florida might be a bridge too far logistically, but we'll see. Who knows? Maybe the arenas will be packed and the whale will win. And I mean, everybody will have fun. I keep slipping and saying I hope that the Connecticut Whale win the Isabel Cup every year. Finals are going to be from Friday, March 25th to Monday, March 28th.
It's always exciting when you have, small team tournaments and like, how do you do a round robin very quickly? And like, should you run up the score every game? Like that's part of what makes hockey fun.
Let's ask whoever's playing us this week. No, the format is there will be 2 preliminary games featuring 3rd versus 6th and 4th versus 5th. The winners of those 2 games will go on to semifinals against the 1st and 2nd place team, and the finals will be on Monday, the 28th. All games will stream live across the United States on ESPN Plus and TSN Direct in Canada. for our like 2 or 3 weekly Canadian listeners.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hey, if one of you calls in, we're still good for poutine.
Yeah, we got you. Watch it. They're like all vegans, and they're like, no. Poutine isn't even good vegan, so stop it. Another point to bring up is that the PHF also just announced that they are going to have a roster expansion and cap expansion for the remainder of this year, which certainly doesn't coincide with the fact that women's hockey is like the sport du jour right now, and that there are probably several PWHPA players coming back from the Olympics who could be tempted to sign with the PHF franchise for the remainder of the season. And no, there's no
talk about a power move. Wow.
It's a massive power move.
I love it. I mean, if these two organizations are going to sort of be antagonists, like, let's see some antagonism.
The release from the PHF was that the teams will be able to add up to 2 players from quote unquote other professional leagues.
So like the English Premier League.
Oh, yeah. Sergio Aguero is... Yeah. He doesn't even play in the Premier League anymore. Fuck me.
So ripe for PHF stardom.
Phil Foden is gonna... There we go. Honestly, it's a power move.
Yeah, I love it.
By the PHF, you could... If you want to pay me $10K to play in like 8 hockey games and then go play in some playoffs in Florida, I'd gladly do it. I don't think I pass the restrictions on gender in this circumstance.
Yeah, you seem feminine enough.
Well, I'd have... Oh, thanks, bud. I do have a hockey butt. But it's like, you have childbearing hips. Like, I have a hockey butt. Yours is like...
That makes me the arbiter.
Like, so, I think... Like, there's probably a LaBouche song somewhere dedicated to your butt.
Yeah, I mean... Jaromir Jagr, I was actually cloned from him.
These are all huge moves. Again, kudos to Tyler Tumminia for putting all this together, even as an outgoing. It's really awesome to watch, like, despite all of the chaos and drama that has surrounded the PHF in the last couple of years.
Right.
They still make these massive leaps in both popularity and visibility and the product that they're putting on the ice. If we're lucky, next year, the ESPN broadcast will have like 3 cameras instead of just 1. But like it's super cool to see. And I'm really just happy for the women in the league who are... I'm really just happy for the athletes who now have a chance at making real money. And
it's got to be exciting to be a part of that league right now. I mean, I was a part of a kind of shitty upstart roller hockey league in the Midwest, and that was super exciting. Like, I can't imagine what it must feel like to say, like, oh, we're going from, you know, broadcasting wherever we can to broadcasting on Twitch to broadcasting on ESPN Plus in the span of a couple of years. Like, that's got to be super exciting for everyone involved.
All right, so we've got some quick hitters here to end up the episode.
So speaking of vegan Canadians...
and quick hitters.
Yeah, Nathan MacKinnon whacked a ref, and nothing will happen. Like, what the fuck?
He's mysteriously injured now. Like,
so funny.
I
swear to God, he's so much of a Boy Scout. He voluntarily suspended himself.
He's like, oh, my...
He's...
abductors hurt. And they're like, oh, okay. And he's like...
It's like,
I'm sorry.
I can't do any abductions today.
He probably sent like a quinoa bread bowl to the official.
And they're like, what is this? Quino?
Quino. It's like, that's what they should have called Queen after Freddie Mercury died.
So MacKinnon lost a face-off, heaven forbid, and turns around and goes and tries to whack the opposing player, but instead hits the ref. Like, it... Believable, but you still hit a ref. Like, I thought this was a principle of the thing kind of equation. You know, you throw a errant punch and you hit a ref, like, that's bad. you usually sit for that.
You throw a slap punch and you hit a assistant coach from the Wisconsin Badgers basketball team who probably deserved it, and you get 5 games.
Yeah, so it's a little crazy to see a star player. I mean, granted, he's missed some time with injury, but he's also had a really shitty kind of quasi head hit that didn't get penalized as well. It's hard not to say that, MacKinnon is playing with some Jordan rules here, but he's playing with some Jordan rules here. It's obvious that they want to see him on the ice. We all want to see him on the ice, but if you whack a ref, you should sit for at least a game. I don't care if it's an accident or not. So yeah, I sort of think that he's like, well, I'm going to have to sit myself down for this one.
I'm going to test this out in our game on Monday.
Oh, yeah?
And just see if I get some Jordan rules. They'll be like, no, Jake, we all hate you. I'll be like, well, I figured, but I'm really good, right? And they're like, no. And I'm like, oh, so am I done? Yeah, you're done. Oh. Do I get to keep the jersey?
Yes, you get to keep the jersey.
All right, then I'm in. Yeah, I haven't actually seen this yet, but I totally agree. Like, even
it's on the legs.
It's one thing.
He goes to whack the guy.
It's one thing if like you're on the follow through of a shot or something and you hit a ref. It's another thing if you like swung at an opponent and missed and just like whack an official. Like,
yeah, I mean, it was also like on the leg pad, and so they're probably sort of not much harm, no foul. But he clearly hit a ref. I mean, it's believable that he missed his intended target, sure. But he hit a ref. Like, I don't know. As a sometimes beer league hockey official, I'm like, what the hell are you guys doing?
Going from somebody who did hit a ref to somebody who is always potentially about to hit a ref, Sean Avery signed an ECHL contract. With who?
Orlando
the Solar Bears, which is one of my favorite. Like, minor league hockey teams and minor league baseball teams have some of the greatest names in all of sports.
Some of the most unhinged names in all of sports. I mean, shout out to our Portland Pickles, who just got their mascot stolen and then had him returned safely.
Glad to have you back, Dylan.
Yeah, like Sean Avery, who has been out of hockey for 10 years, aged out at age 30, so now he's 40, is going to attempt to come back. Like, I don't know, talk about transparent PR attention ploys.
Yeah, I mean, his whole Twitter life is a transparent Twitter money ploy. But I don't see the reasoning behind this or the good in this. It just seems stupid.
I mean, it seems like they're probably just trying to sell tickets, and he's probably just trying to proverbially sell tickets. So maybe
to the gun show.
Yeah, right. To his modeling career and shock jock tendencies. Like
the Joe Rogan tandem is coming.
Yeah, for real. I would not think twice if I heard Sean Avery on fucking like Tucker Carlson or some shit. What's hilarious is he's still hated. So Matthew Barnaby and Georges Larac have immediately offered on social media to sign with division teams so they can fight Sean Avery. Like, I'm down for it.
Yeah, I stream that on Twitch.
Oh, for sure.
I got a Twitch account just to watch PHF games last year, NWHL games last year. I still got it somewhere, so I would watch that shit in a heartbeat. Can we, in our theme of changing the first letters of first and last names, can we call him Cucker Tarlson?
I love it. I love it. Do not
Beaver
cut that.
Kellos and Cucker Tarlson.
Do not cut that.
And Marl Cologne. We aren't even drunk tonight. Jeez.
So I'm going to tell a parallel story and then come back to this.
Okay.
But obviously, in the past couple of weeks when we've been off and put out some bonus episodes you should check out, Dave Tippett is out in Edmonton, and Dominique Ducharme was fired in Montreal, replaced by Martin St. Louis. Montreal's gone on a heater since Martin, short guy doesn't skip leg day, St. Louis has taken over, and Cole Caulfield, fellow short king, is scoring again. But it's hilarious that Martin St. Louis is coaching in the NHL, and Sean Avery is making a professional career, air quote, comeback, when Martin St. Louis would probably be better on ice than Sean Avery any given day.
That will never not be true.
Right. I mean, he was better all of his career, and he's better right now. Like, I don't know. I think that's absolutely hilarious that fucking Sean Avery is attempting a comeback. Like, please.
Yeah, he's kind of a massive turd. So,
oh yeah, he's a huge massive turd. I mean, like, have you seen the videos of him over the last couple of years? Like,
fuck no.
Almost getting in fights with motorists.
I saw a couple of videos once, and it was like,
punch a homeless guy. He'd
probably slap his grandmother for like $80.
Yeah, he's like, he was in a Broadway show, and he left.
That I can get behind.
He had to get a restraining order, I think. Like, Sean Avery's, he's a psychopath and he's hilarious, and I sort of like want Georges Larac to just come back and beat his ass. Like, that would just that would be the best possible punchline of this entire situation.
Was the punchline, was that
thank you.
Yeah.
NYT, hire me.
Finally, the Predators did the most obvious thing that they can do for their franchise, which is retire the number for Pekka Rinne.
Yeah.
This was last night?
Absolutely foundational goaltender. Brought them to, within a couple of games of a Stanley Cup victory.
Within a whisper.
Yeah. One of the most dominant goaltenders of his era. Maybe not a Hall of Famer, so this might be it. He's Hall of Fame talent, but he doesn't really have the Hall of Fame credentials from winning.
If Chris Osgood is not in the Hall of Fame, neither is Pekka Rinne.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah.
He, Pekka Rinne was sort of, he could have been a Hall of Fame goaltender, but
with one ring, he's absolutely in.
I agree. Yeah, that sucks, but I don't know. This is probably some of the biggest accolades that he's going to get. So congrats to him for getting his number in the rafters in Nashville. That fan base loves him. He's never going to have to pay for a meal in that city ever.
And if he does, shame on you, Nashville.
He's like, well, there was this Denny's once, and they didn't know who I was. And
Pekka Rinne is not going to fucking Denny's.
Okay, fine. Way to call out my joke.
He lives in fucking... You know how much good food there is in Nashville? He's like,
That's
nah.
true.
Well, you know what? Okay, I'll pull back on that. There's a time and a place where you get to like a moon's over my hammy level, where you're just like...
Also, that's strawberry lemonade, man.
It's legit, yeah.
So, yeah, happy trails to Pekka Rinne, and congratulations on getting your number retired. He terrorized the Blackhawks for a lot of the time that I was a fan of them, and absolutely deserving of this honor.
That's gonna do it for us tonight, folks. Thank you. Or it could be the morning, whenever you're listening to this. I don't know. Live your life. Don't go to invading the Ukraine. Whatever you got to do to not invade the Ukraine.
I mean, I accidentally invaded the Ukraine.
Were you playing Risk again?
Yeah. I mean, it was just there. It was in Kamchatka. And
there, you got to go through like Yakutsk and Irkutsk, and like that's a.
Don't get caught up in Afghanistan. That's bad.
You don't like go just on a willy-nilly from Kamchatka to the Ukraine in Risk. Like that's...
You got to go through a lot of armies.
You got to go... Yeah, you're burning through armies at that point. Anyways, speaking of burning through armies...
So our armies of fans can find us on the internets at handsomehockey.com, Handsome Hockey Podcast on Instagram, at Handsome Hockey on Twitter, handsomehockeypod@gmail.com, or the Handsome Hockey Facebook page.
And you are obviously listening to us somewhere, which, thank you. That's pretty rad of you. We don't get it, but we appreciate it.
Welcome to Costco. I love you.
But if you want to tell your friends to listen, or your great aunt who weirdly likes hockey despite living in Kansas, or like...
Hey, Aunt Becky is a fan, man.
Hey, oh man, Aunt Becky, or like, let's not get all Full House on me here. Anyways, we are available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts. Amazon, that's definitely the right emphasis.
Amazon.
Stitcher, TuneIn, Overcast. Our our host is Red Circle, and you can occasionally find us on YouTube.
And maybe we'll make like the NHL and partner with TikTok.
We will not. You say this every episode just to get a rise out of me, and it works.
That's just going to be my continuing threat.
It's either that or like you bring up Joe Rogan and Spotify, and I just go, I'm so easily annoyed.
Aren't we all these days, man?
I have been this way perpetually since birth, but
upset, but not irate.
Thank you so much for listening. We did put a bonus episode, as Evan said, out earlier this week, episode 2 with our buddy Rob Otero.
Yeah, you can see literally where it all started right in this room we're recording now. We stuffed 3 of us into it. It got real warm because it was August, and you can really see where and how our podcast has evolved over the kind of year and a half we've been doing it.
Yeah, I was listening to it, and it's very hockey nerd centric.
A little bit.
Yeah, like we really dive into some stats and stuff, and I was like, wow, we don't do that at all anymore.
We were so excited to have a hockey podcast. Like, I don't know. I think that was part of the
shine is worn off.
Yeah, we had this like sort of joie de vivre about us that I really enjoyed.
Yeah, esprit de corps. Yeah, but check that out if you haven't already. As always, thank you for listening. We love you. Stay safe. Don't invade the Ukraine.
If you're in Ukraine, please stay safe.
Stay handsome, everybody.
Restez beau, tout le monde.